right, so we got to move on. We're going to be talking about two superhero movies where I know we're kind of torn on one, definitely not on the other. But we're going to be talking about the Marvels first. Because we finally have watched the Marvels and Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom.
Yes.
This is the one we're kind of torn on.
Yes.
Because I watched the Marvels.
You did not like it.
And I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
And Kamala Khan, I agree with you. And I can imagine her in the background going, why the fuck are we making these decisions? Because she has come out pretty much and said that she did that during the making of the show.
Yeah. And she did it for Doctor Strange.
And Doctor Strange.
She had one of the best reactions to Doctor Strange, and I'm not just saying that because it was my reaction to Doctor Strange, where she said they did Black Bolt dirty.
Yeah.
Like, no shit. They really did. They really fucked that one up.
And listen, I will say this to the end of days. I'm in love with Brie Larson. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's a fantastic actor. You know, everyone bashes her acting. It's like, dude, it's not her acting. I think she does a great job with what she gets.
I think she's a good actor in other things. I have not had a moment. There have been brief glimpses. So I guess I have a moment. But I've only had moments where I look at her and I say, this is the promise that I was made.
But see, that's the thing. Like, because of the things I've seen her in, where it's been, like, Oscar-winning things, that's why I'm not necessarily going to put the blame on her.
I don't put it on her. I put it on the directing and the writing.
Yes.
And I think that they come to her and they say, this is what we want the character to be.
Yes.
And so she tries to give that to them. And it just, especially in the first Captain Marvel, less so here in the Marvels, but especially in the first one, there were just a lot of moments where it seemed like they kept on giving her the note, care less.
Yes.
Care even less about what's happening. Like, show that you do care, but care even less. And just like the way that she gave all of her dialogue in that movie was so just... There was just no iteration to it. And I get it. The whole point was that she doesn't take things seriously enough for the Kree and all these other things. But I just don't think that landed as well as you wanted it to, because it came off as just this kind of like aloof, I don't care about anything.
I can see that.
And so
I could see that.
Here, we don't have as much of that problem, but I do still have a few moments where I have an issue with her delivery, which is also just a matter of what's going on in this story. There are a few moments in the story here where I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Dude.
What the fuck is happening?
This movie was, when it finished, I was just like, that was, like I said, even my wife watched the second half of it with me, and she just looked and she goes, that's bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it was fucking terrible.
I compare this to Shang-Chi. The first 2/3 I really like. For the most part, it has gaps and problems, but I can kind of get away with them at times. And then they make a decision at the beginning of the third act that is so tragic, and then they double down on it with further bad decisions that break canon over and over again. So it starts with the Flurkins, and then the whole thing with the bracers is a mess.
Yeah,
it's a mess. And Kelly was sitting there with me proposing, like, oh, maybe it means this, maybe it means this. And I'm like, well, the problem with that is that they directly said what it means in the show.
Yeah.
They said what it is. And now they're saying it's a different thing.
Yeah.
And this is not what they said it was in the show. In the show, they said it's this. And now they're saying, wait, this is how it works. No. That wasn't what you told us. You told us that the way this works is that it activates her powers when she's wearing it, implying and showing that she can't use her powers unless she's wearing it, which that goes out the window by the end of this movie for some reason. I don't understand that. That made no fucking sense, because if that's the thing, then just leave it at home.
Yeah.
Then just don't bring it. If you don't need it, then don't bring it.
Yeah.
You know this MacGuffin is wanted by the villain, then don't bring it.
Have Captain Marvel throw it into the sun.
Anywhere. You don't need it, and you know that it can accidentally transport you through time and space. Maybe don't wear it if you don't need to wear it.
Yeah.
But instead, they have her wear it the whole movie, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
There's a lot of things that don't make it. Like, there are sometimes they use their powers and they switch places. And there are sometimes they use their powers. Well, it's
only when they use their powers at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is a wrinkle that they didn't really show. I mean, they showed it, but at the same time, there were moments where, Photon is using her light vision and someone's blasting something. And you're just like, so that doesn't count? That doesn't count? It's only if you're shooting beams. Okay.
It's so fucking dumb.
And why does Photon have a spacesuit? She doesn't need one.
She doesn't need a spacesuit.
She doesn't need a spacesuit. That's the whole point, is that she's made out of light. She doesn't need a spacesuit. Oh, well, she needs a spacesuit because she's going to teleport with Kamala Khan, and Kamala Khan needs a spacesuit. Well, then you need to write that scene better, dude. That's not good. That's not good enough.
Like right from like even the depiction of Nick Fury in this.
You mean Grandpa Nick?
It was terrible.
You mean Grandpa Nick? Because
terrible.
I was watching the X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men this week.
Yes.
And there was an episode where he blackmails Wolverine, Nick Fury, blackmails Wolverine into helping him with a fight with the Hulk. So he goes to Wolverine, picks him up in the middle of a fight with the mutant police, and takes him to a diner and basically says, I know where you live, and I know the name of every X-Men on your team, and I will give it to the American government so that they will come to your house and arrest everybody that lives there, and you won't be able to do anything about it unless you do this job for me. That's Nick Fury.
Yeah.
That's fucking Nick Fury. So Nick Fury takes Wolverine and drops him in the Canadian wilderness to fight the Hulk. Except, funny story, it's not just to fight the Hulk, because the Wendigo is out here, because they did Wendigo, and that's fucking badass. Thank you for doing Wendigo. Big thumbs up. Except that it's still not even that. Because Nick Fury says, oh, they discovered a magic crystal and it turned somebody into a Wendigo and now there's a problem. No. S.H.I.E.L.D. was fucking around trying to figure out a way to weaponize this Wendigo spell and turned a bunch of their agents into Wendigos. And then they brought in Bruce Banner to fix it. And then that didn't work because it's the fucking Hulk.
Yeah.
So 2 towns got destroyed. So now they have to figure out how to stop the Hulk and the Wendigo. So now they bring in Wolverine, and now they have enough people here with brains to take care of this situation. And at the end, Fury's just like, what are you gonna fucking do? Tell on me? Like, what are you gonna do? And Wolverine's like, well, I won't tell if you don't tell where my people live. And that's their agreement. And they walk away. That's Nick Fury.
Yeah.
I don't know who Grandpa Nick is.
No, and this wasn't even a Nick Fury from the fucking Secret Invasion, that goddamn awful show.
Who? I don't know what happened to Grandpa Nick when he went through the blink. Because you think we would have found out in Secret Invasion, but somehow we still don't know. Something happened to Grandpa Nick, and it stole all of his Austin Powers mojo. Like, just full out, he is not Nick Fury. Yeah. He is Grandpa Nick. He is a very sweet man who you think might have done some shit in his 40s that he doesn't talk about anymore. But he's not that guy anymore. He's just sweet Grandpa Nick. Oh. He just wants to hold cats and give them pets and tutor children and help people with their problems and talk through situations. So he doesn't have any machinations for control over anything. Nick Fury has earned the ire of the gods on numerous occasions, to the point where he gets banished from the universe. I am tired of Grandpa Nick. Yeah. I'm tired of Grandpa Nick.
Well, I mean, it was like the evolution of that character from what we saw after Endgame, going into Secret Invasion, and then what we see here.
What do you mean after Endgame? He wasn't in Endgame.
I mean, I said after Endgame.
But that's what I mean, is like he shows up at the end of Infinity War.
Yes.
And then we see him at Tony's funeral.
Yes.
And then we see nothing from him, because the next time we see him is in Far From Home, except, oh wait! That's not him! So what is he...
Well, we see him on the spaceship.
So what is Grandpa Nick doing?
And we don't know.
It just makes me so mad. Because I don't...
Well, he's married to Skrull, so...
I don't love... I have no love for Nick Fury, right? But Nick Fury is such an antagonizing force to the Marvel Universe. Yeah. You want to talk about an anti-hero? Imagine a governmental official who is an anti-hero on the level of the Punisher. Okay?
Well, it's... Suicide Squad did it right with Amanda Waller. Yeah. That's how Nick Fury should have been.
Yeah.
Exactly how she was.
He does not give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Do you understand that he does not care?
Yeah. You're fucking just fodder.
I hate Grandpa Nick. I love Sam Jackson. I hate Grandpa Nick.
Oh, it's fucking terrible.
I hate Grandpa Nick. Because that's all he does, is he just sits there and he's just like, oh, what a terrible thing to have happen. We'll have to figure out a solution. Is anybody getting sick on the space machine? We got to figure out a way to get all of these people off this space machine. How are we ever going to do that? We have to get there. We have to get there, because I do want to talk about what I liked about this movie, because there are moments I did like.
Don't tell me the Singing Planet.
We're gonna get there too.
Don't tell me that.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I did like the stuff with Kamala Khan's family. I did like the stuff where the Kree are fighting in their house and there's this whole war going on between these various set pieces. I thought that was fun. Maybe not directed great at times, but I thought it was fun. I liked that the whole family got involved.
See, I compared that scene, though, to Blue Beetle. And that's where I was like... I mean, I loved that was our favorite
This didn't
part.
have Grandma pulling out a giant paddling.
That was fucking awesome. But that was... I mean, this was always our favorite part of the show of the Ms.
And I
Marvel.
think that they still captured that.
Yeah, no, they still did
that
good.
very, very well, and so I liked it here too.
Yeah.
I did like the Skrull planet. We're gonna get into some muddy waters again because apparently, this whole fucking time, they had
a planet.
They haven't had a planet, except that they did.
They do have a planet.
Except that they have multiple planets, Steve. They tell us that they are on multiple worlds. So you do have another home.
Yes.
So you do have
which makes Secret
somewhere else
Invasion
to go.
Completely unnecessary.
Fully a lie.
Yes.
Everything about Secret Invasion is a lie. None of it is true. None of it makes any sense anymore. It's just a full-bore lie.
And it's funny that this movie came out shortly after
Secret Invasion.
So it's like, why would you even do that?
And you know that Marvel has their finger in all these jars. It's not like they put on two different teams to figure this thing out. They said, hey, you got to make sure that you draw this line and it's got to be there.
Yeah.
What was this? I don't understand this. This I don't get at all.
And it made it like the whole interactions with them was like something out of a bad Star Trek show. It was like
I didn't mind the interactions with them and their emperor. Although again, if you have an emperor of the Skrull, that's a really big deal.
Yeah,
that should mean something more than just the local magistrate, which is what this guy kind of came off as. He didn't seem like he was the emperor of the Skrull.
No.
I do like that scene because that's that classic superhero quandary of when do you know you've lost?
Yes.
When do you have to just pack it in and say, that's it. I can't save any more people. I can't do any more. I love that scene for that moment where the Marvels are talking and Photon and they just come in and just say, sometimes you have to understand that you can't save everyone. And there's a whole conversation about it. And I really, really like that because that is what I come to superhero stuff for, is for the things that you can only tell in a superhero story. And, you know... the training sequence was fine. The banter between the three of them was fine. I didn't find any of those things annoying. I still love Iman Vellani. She buoys so many scenes for me because any time where something could get annoying or boring, she comes in and just brings this life to the scene and excitement that's so genuine and real. And I'm like, thank you. This is why I love you as Kamala Khan, is because you are so thoroughly the character.
Yes.
You might write Marvel fan fiction yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, and I love her portrayal.
And I'll agree with you that her interactions I enjoyed. I got really tired with the whole Photon holding it against Carol Danvers that she never came back to visit her or came back to... And I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Like that, like saying it once and maybe working through it, but they just kept going with it. And I'm like, dude...
Yeah.
Just get fucking over it, man. She obviously has been trying to save everyone in the universe.
Well, so this is another thing that I get confused by because, you know, it's like the Marvels took a big rock and threw it in Cannon Lake.
Yeah.
And now there's these ripples that are coming out that I'm like, well, hang on a second. That changes everything. Because instead of just being a rock in the lake, it's a rock that now comes out of the lake. And it's like that celestial that we don't talk about that's just kind of sticking out of the world. Apparently, Carol overthrew the Kree Empire in 1994.
Yeah.
That feels like it hadn't happened in any of the movies before this. They don't talk about the Kree Empire having fallen. They talk about Ronan being a zealot.
Yes.
But they don't talk about the Kree Empire falling.
Show
in Guardians when he's talking to the Nova.
Talking to Nova saying, we have this...
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is.
That's true. That's fucking...
I don't know what that is. Because if the Kree Empire has been gone for almost 20 years, how come the Skrulls still have to live on Earth?
Yeah.
Because if the reason the Skrulls lost their planet wasn't Galactus, but it was the Kree, which is what you keep telling us.
Yes.
And the Kree Empire fell.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? So what the fuck? So who's in charge?
The worst thing about this movie is the villain. I'm sorry.
It is a very dull, nothing villain.
Not only is she dull and nothing, it's like,
She has no personality.
She has Ronan's hammer, but the only thing that gave Ronan's hammer power was that it had the Power Stone.
Because
which it doesn't fucking have.
They went back and they rewrote stuff, because it used to be that the ultimate weapon did have a bunch of things that it could do, but you took all that out.
You took it all out. It was just a fucking hammer.
Yeah. And no, I agree, because like, as much as I want to see an accuser, I'm really excited to see an accuser. I don't know. I get why they call her Supremor, but she's not Supremor.
No.
I can't emphasize this enough. She is not Supremor. She's an accuser, and an accuser can definitely run the Kree Empire. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And so, like, she can just be an accuser. That accuser is like the highest rank possible in the Kree Empire, and you're basically the forefinger of the Kree pointing and saying, you are not worthy, you will now join our empire. Like, this idea that she's Supremor, I'm like, and also the idea that I'm glad that we got to see the Supreme Intelligence in his big blobby head form. Awesome. Love it. Great. I don't love that you refer to the Supreme Intelligence as an AI. That it, while technically true, is a gross simplification of what the Supreme Intelligence is. To anybody who doesn't know, the Supreme Intelligence is the combination of every great mind in Kree society since in memoriam. So they just keep on putting people's brains into this, and it leads their society. It's not an AI. It's kind of like an AI, but it's not an AI in the fact that it was alive at one point and made up of multiple individuals. So it's not an AI. But sure, it's an AI. And it runs their entire empire. Sure.
Sure.
I don't mind that the Kree planet fell. Again, I have issues with canon, because it doesn't feel like that was a thing that was in the whole plot of this whole arc until now, that the Kree Empire had fallen. I love the scene of her coming in and destroying the Kree Empire, and I love the whole feel of that, and like how they I can't remember the name that they have for her, but they have some name for her and all these other things. Destroyer or something like that. I like this in concept. Executionally, there's some problems here.
And that's the thing. It's like, even parts that I would say didn't make me physically want to vomit, they're wrapped in this narrative that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't even, like, kind of lap onto those moments, because it's like, I know that a hunk of dog shit's coming right around the corner.
Well, and I don't know how, like, I get the idea of why Hela is still around as a planet.
Yeah.
That Hala is around because it needs to be, basically. So people are still living there, even though it has apparently no atmosphere, no water, and no sun. I don't know how anyone is living there with just some PPE masks, but sure, why not? I don't mind the idea of revitalizing the planet. I think that's interesting. I think that you have a natural problem understanding what Captain Marvel's power levels are. Because
they've had that problem since day one.
It's always been a problem.
Yes.
It has always been a problem. They don't know how to do it. They made her unstoppable, and then they were like, I don't know what to do. And that's still
kind of the same problem with the Scarlet Witch. They didn't really know how to do her powers.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to figure it out.
But they depowered her instead. Carol,
yes.
they left her powers as is, which is great, but they don't know how to use them. And so it just becomes the situation where this is... I saw Captain Marvel again leading up to this. I liked it more than I did the first time. I thought that the plotting and pacing was better than I remembered it. The Nick Fury de-aging stuff didn't bother me as much, and the Maria Rambeau stuff is really fun. I get to the third act of that movie, and I'm still like, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to make this fight sequence interesting or captivating in any way. And so you just turn it into a message at the end, and it just comes into nothing. And I always go back to, if this was how Tony Stark or Captain America or Spider-Man finished off one of their stories, you would be like, what the fuck is this power trip nonsense? What is going on? And I get it. It's apples to oranges. It's a different situation. But I think you still need to write a good ending. It can't just be, I'm unstoppable, I'm the juggernaut. You know, it's just, there has to be something.
Yeah.
There has to be something. And not for nothing, Carol has fought Ronan, and it has been a close fight because of the ultimate weapon. So I'm just saying, it's there. You didn't use it, and I don't know why, but it's there. Anyway, back to this movie.
But I'm glad you saw the message thing, because that was also, like, I think the problem, once again, the problem Marvel has and a lot of studios have, it's you go too far into, like, I'm 1,000% behind, like, women power with...
Yeah.
I had the problem in Endgame where it's like, you got to have all the female superheroes
I
come
like
together.
that moment.
No, it's not a bad moment, but it's just, it seems forced. You know what I mean? And in here you have...
It's pandering.
Exactly. Thank you. That's a good word. But you have the 3 female leads who work great together, but then you have a female bad guy, and then your big character that has a tie into the other movies is Valkyrie, which I love Valkyrie.
Yeah.
But I'm like...
Well, then again, this is again something that they haven't earned. They tell us that Valkyrie and Carol are friends.
When the fuck...
Carol hasn't been on Earth. You keep telling us that Carol hasn't been on Earth. When did that happen?
Like, if there was anyone that she seemed to get along with, was fucking Thor.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a chance to have a little cameo from a Marvel person that would make sense.
And you can bring back Fat Thor, which I know will make you so happy. No, but I just...
But once again, I don't know where this happened in the timeline.
That's also true.
3,
or
Thor the...
Thor the good Thor.
Yeah.
Thor the funny Thor.
The fuck you, Thor.
Thor the funny Thor, quote unquote funny. No, I like a lot of this movie because the look and the fight scenes are good. There are moments, right, where you have the fight scene on the singing planet, which we're gonna talk about the singing planet. You have the fight scene on the singing planet where I just kept on being like, Carol, just take control of the situation instead of fucking around and trying to solve all the problems. Just take leadership and figure out the situation. And I get it, that's part of the storytelling, right? Is that Carol has to learn and grow into that stage because she hasn't had to do that before. She's used to running around and solving all the problems at once. She's not used to delegating. But there were just a lot of moments where I was just like, Carol, I swear to God, you just need to stop, look around, assess the situation, and ask for someone's help. Now we get into the parts of the movie where I was like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening here? The singing planet. While we're here, let's just talk about it. I don't mind the conceit of the singing planet. I like the scene for the most part. I think it's funny and interesting. The moment she magically changes clothes, I was like, what the fuck is happening? I'm not even sorry, but what the fuck is happening? Yeah. And then all 3 of them come out in new costumes that they got from this... What the fuck is happening?
No, it was... I hated the scene.
What
and I love musicals. If there's any male on this planet that loves musicals as much as I do, it'd be like you.
Yeah.
But I love musicals, and this part was... I hated every fucking... Because it just, once again, it was a poor attempt at, like, changing the tone of a movie that already kind of had tones all over the place.
It was all over the place tonally.
And so it's like, it just was odd. Like,
it was supposed to be this respite from the action, and it was supposed to be funny and charming. And I think it got there somewhat, but just as a scene, it was so polarized to the point where Polaris, Photon, is kind of like, what the fuck is going on? What's happening? Yeah. And Kamala Khan's like, you need to loosen up. Cut to Photon seemingly drunk. just living it up, having a great time. I was like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
When was that?
It was so fucking weird.
Yeah,
man.
No, there were just a lot of moments. I will never get over that weird costume change. Yeah. Where it has like a bippity boppity blue, like, just like star come up on her chest, and suddenly she's in this dress, and I'm like, no, but what the fuck is happening? Yeah. There needs to be some kind of... like, this is unacceptable. This is not okay. You can't make movies this way. This is not okay. Yeah. And then they do the same thing that they did with the scene that I like before, but they don't follow through with it. Where they say, we can save the planet only so much. We gotta bail. Kamala Khan makes a decision for the entire team that they're gonna bail. And Photon and Captain Marvel are just like, yeah, cool, I agree. Nobody is like, no, we could have done more. Nobody has any other opinions. Everybody's just like, yeah, I guess that kind of sucks. Oh, well, we're going to move on.
And she is literally the queen of that planet. It's like, dude, you're actually the queen of the fucking planet.
Like, you can't. You can't. You just can't.
No! Like the Skrull planet. Fuck. I mean, they're Skrulls and you like them, but you're the queen of this fucking planet of happy people singing.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it, I'm gone. And just that was a scene where, like, I get what they were trying to do, but the execution on it was not good. It was not good. No. It was not good. I think this leads us to the Flurkin. I think we finally... Oh, wait, no. Before we get to the Flurkin, we have to talk about the power bands. because the cosmic bands
Yes.
are finally introduced. The power bands that I've been waiting for from the Kree are finally introduced. Supposedly, they were introduced in Miss Marvel.
Yes.
And I do think they say that the power band is from the Kree at some point in the show. I do seem to remember that being brought up in the show, is that it was a Kree artifact of some kind. Why the fuck can't the Kree use the power bands? They can't use the power bands because it disintegrates their bodies. Why?
Yeah.
But why?
That makes no sense.
You invented it. It's your thing. Why? But why? But why?
Yeah.
What was the point of introducing the Jinn as a brand new race in the first place? Because I don't see one.
No.
It doesn't seem to be one. It seems to be that the going theory in this movie is that if you have both, you can use them. Or if you have both and you're of the specific descent, you can use them. None of that is really spelled out. No. It's kind of subtly implied at times, but I would also argue that having watched Miss Marvel, it is equally able to see that it's not necessarily that if you have both or if you're of a certain lineage, you can use them. They say that they are drawn together.
Yes.
So they will pull towards each other, which we've seen on a bunch of different cosmic items in Marvel Comics. So why can Kamala Khan use them and Dar-Ben, the villain, can't?
No. Yeah. That didn't make any sense.
This doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
To the point where Dar-Ben uses them, tears a hole in reality, and then Kamala Khan just slaps him on, no problem, and is like, let's do this thing, baby. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
A human girl.
Well, no, she's a Jinn girl.
Oh, that's right. She's a Jinn girl.
Because she's not Inhuman anymore.
That's true.
She's Jinn now. She's from another dimension.
That is true.
A different dimension made out of light, which is why her powers are also different, Steve. Because that's cool, right? We're just going to change all of her powers, and that's going to be fine.
You're giving me an ulcer.
So now we got to get the Flurkins. Oh. You thought you had ulcer before. We haven't even got the Flurkins yet.
This is the moment. You talk about this in a lot of movies. This is the moment where they're going to sell products.
Yeah. This is the ad campaign.
This is the ad campaign.
And I hated this scene. This was a scene that I knew was coming because they had hinted very heavily that Flurkins were going to be a significant part of the plot. And I was not happy about it. And I feel like at this point, it's important to go back and remind everybody how we are introduced to Flurkins in the first place.
Yes.
Flurkins, when they are first introduced, are introduced to us via Talos the Skrull freaking the fuck out that he is standing within 5 feet of one.
Yes.
Freaking out. Okay? And this goes for all the Skrulls. None of the Skrulls are happy about this cat situation.
Yes.
All of them are deeply upset about it. So, funny story, Flurkins reproduce via eggs. Because of course they do.
Of course they do.
And so now there's all these eggs all over the space station. Where do all these eggs come from? I'm so confused. I don't understand. The space station starts losing power because of plot reasons. And you're like, okay, so now we have a bunch of people on the space station that need to get back off the space station. And we have a bunch of Flurkins.
But we only have like 4 escape pods.
But we only have 4 escape pods for some reason. Even though you have all of these people working on this space station.
And we know the space station has teleportation, didn't it? No.
It has like those big space tubes that shoots up and down.
At the end of Secret Invasion, it came down. Yeah.
But like, there should be more escape pods. There should be a lot of everything. I think at one point they say some of the escape pods aren't working or they only have power to 4 of them. There's some stupid thing that they say.
Yeah.
And all of it is moot. Because I'll explain what they do and then I'll explain what they should have done. So what they do is they take these brand new, freshly hatched babies.
Who don't know shit.
And remind me, when babies are freshly born, are they usually like chill and relaxed or do they want to eat?
Yes.
And they're hungry.
Yes.
Like really hungry. Like that's the whole thing with babies is that they got to eat. So Nick Fury's plan is to have all of the people be eaten by the Flurkins.
And then puked up when they
get home. And you think this is going to work? Why?
Yeah.
And then on top of it, all of the sword agents are freaking out. Yeah. They're all scared to death of what's happening. And I'm just like, what is supposed to be going on in this scene?
And it's like, they don't even have them wearing like breathers or anything.
Nothing.
Like, so you're going to be inside this creature.
You don't know what's in there.
Yeah, you don't even know how you can fit in there. Like,
and most of these are fresh kittens who are going to be hungry. None of these people are going to be digested. None of these people are going to be digested. This is what your argument
It's so
is.
stupid.
It's so dumb.
That's the dumbest fucking
It
thing.
made me so mad, Steve. It made me so mad. This was Trevor Slattery all over again. Of just like, we were going and, you know, there were problems. Not everything was perfect, but we were going. And then you did this. And then you did this. And why did you do it? Because now it's ruined everything. I can't have any goodwill for you anymore because you ruined it. You took this moment and you ruined everything that came beforehand. And now I can't think about anything else afterwards either. This is how I'm going to remember the entire movie from now on, is the stupid Flurkin space station. You know what they should have done? Captain Marvel can power engines.
Yeah.
We see her do it on numerous occasions. All she has to do is go to the engine, go,
Yeah.
and it turns on.
Yeah.
This is so dumb.
Well, they wanted the goofy comedy toy.
Yeah.
This is what it was.
And it ruined the movie for me.
And what's great is we just saw last week the proper use of that with the baby Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And here we're seeing the absolute worst.
It actually impacts the directly.
Oh, absolutely.
And irreversibly.
Like, I mean, we've already hated the Flurkins because it ruined the whole how Nick Fury lost his eye.
Yeah.
By fucking, what's the name of the lead Flurkin?
Goose.
Scratches his fucking eye
Because
out.
Top Gun.
Yeah. Oh,
References from the 80s.
so fucking bad.
I'm so tired of this, Steve.
And I'll be honest, though. Before the whole Flurkin conversation, you had brought up something where Captain Marvel is, like, having a hard time dealing with delegating and realizing, like, her powers and stuff. If you think about it, she's had her powers now for over 40 years.
Longer than almost anyone in Marvel canon.
Yes.
Longer than the Hulk.
And you're telling me she would be going through these issues 40 plus years into her run?
Banner has figured out how to become Brain Hulk, Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
In that time. Carol has been around longer and had her powers longer.
And has seen more.
And she somehow doesn't know how to delegate tasks.
Yeah. That was the part that really bugged me.
Yeah.
Because when you think about how long she's actually been Captain Marvel and
she should be better at this than this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She showed better than it in the Avengers movies.
Yes.
And so it's like, and now you're just like, and that's the part that really pissed me off because you have once again your opportunity for this, the ultimate strongest Marvel character, and it just happens to be a woman. You have your chance, and you're going to make her insecure, and you're going to make her, not really feel comfortable. And it's like, no!
And she's not a leader.
It's
not
like,
a leader.
no, dude! She is the ultimate fucking...
Yeah.
It's like she is the female Captain America, goddammit.
Yeah.
She has had her powers as long as he's been Captain America.
She should be a cosmic Captain America.
Absolutely.
That's what Captain Marvel is in canon.
Yes.
She is a cosmic level Captain America.
Yes.
More than Major Victory, she is a cosmic level Captain America.
More like him to where, yes, he has some insecurities when it comes to dealing with people because he was asleep in the ice for so long. She could have that because she's been out in space, like dealing with other humans. But when it comes to doing the fucking job,
she's still used to other alien cultures and other things.
Exactly.
She doesn't know how to do stuff, but she knows how to do this.
Yeah. When she's doing her job, there's fucking no one better.
And I think that was another issue towards the end for me, was that you have made Carol into this unstoppable force. How do you have a decent fight with her now with allies, where she has two fairly powerful allies? And I get it, they have this whole teleportation thing, but it's supposed to be played off at this point as a boon to them. They figured out how to use it in their fight sequences. And I'm just supposed to sit here like, but she's so powerful. How is she not just vaporizing this whole ship and throwing Darwin into the sun?
I mean, to me, it reminded me a lot of the Superman quandary, where they kind of played it the right way at the end of the Justice League movie, where when he's fighting, what's the big douchebag in Justice League, the bad guy, Steppenwolf.
Yes.
When he goes in against, they're all getting their asses kicked. Superman comes in, it's almost like no problem.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill him, and this
was the reason why nobody touched Earth, was because Superman was here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what she should have fucking been. It's like, but I mean, we had this issue with Thanos and all that shit. It's like,
yeah,
she really, and once again, in fucking Endgame, she destroys ships and shit. Well, but then when it comes to certain scenes, she gets her ass kicked. It's like, no, dude.
And in the comics, the way that they deal with this is by having Carol be emotionally damaged because of her powers. She either feels like she can't connect with normal people, or there's canons where she's an alcoholic. She has split personality disorder. Like things happen to Carol because of this level of power and trying to control and manifest it in a positive way. We get none of that.
No.
She's just the most powerful being in the world, and no one can stop her except maybe Darwin for like 5 minutes, but mostly because she has allies around. I guess if she didn't have allies around, she could blow up the ship and throw Darwin into the sun and solve all of her problems. But again, we see she goes and restarts the Kree sun. So what is the problem?
She restarts a fucking sun.
So what is the problem?
That is true. I forgot about that. It's like,
and I'm just like, by the end of this movie, I'm just like, you can throw Hank McCoy at me, and I will be thrilled because it's Hank McCoy, and you have Maria Rambeau as binary. That's awesome. That's so fucking dope. I love that. That's so cool. Doesn't make up for some of the terrible decisions you made in the last 20 minutes of this movie.
I'm sorry. Why that Kelsey Grammer, Hank McCoy? It's like,
because he's iconic.
Yeah, in the worst fucking X-Men movie, he was iconic. It's like, just get Nicholas Hoult to fucking do it.
That would have been good if they got Nick Hoult to do it. Because all they have to do is the voice, right? That's it.
You can't tell me
all they need is the voice.
They can't throw a bunch of money at him. And even if, this is long before he got Lex Luthor in the Superman movie, so he was doing, maybe doing prep for Van Helsing.
That's why. He's not hairy enough right now. He can't play Beast. He's not hairy enough, Steve.
He can't play the CGI.
He's bald.
He can't be the CGI Beast.
Steve, he's bald. How could he play Hank McCoy?
Once again, this movie, it was shooting during COVID.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw him in was Van Helsing, which I think got shot after that.
Van Helsing or Renfield?
Or Renfield, Renfield. I keep saying Van Helsing, Renfield.
I was like, I didn't think he was in a Van Helsing movie.
He hasn't really done much. It's like, you can't tell me he wasn't like, all right, I'll do.
He was in that horror movie, The Menu, that I'm kind of vaguely interested in with Taylor-Joy and Ray Fiennes.
That was actually
I need to see it. I haven't watched it yet, but
even that, he didn't really have much to do. He was more of kind of a, Anna Taylor-Joy and Ray Fiennes were mainly the lead characters in that. But it's like, dude, why get the fucking worst one?
Yeah. I don't mind, because I don't mind that iteration of Beast. He was also technically in the Days of Future Past. So technically speaking, he does have credentials. I don't mind. I've never minded Kelsey Grammer as Beast. I've actually thought he was a pretty good fit for Beast, because he has the right voice, he has the right demeanor, and he's Sideshow Bob. Come on.
But he's just the main problem I have with it is, where are you going to go with it? Because he's fucking old now.
But he doesn't need to play physical Beast.
No, but even the voice, we saw with Harrison Ford with the de-aging, it's like, you can tell when you're just, he still has it, he still has the voice, but it's like, why pick a guy that's I think he's in his 70s?
Well, is any of this actually going to matter?
Who knows?
Is any of this actually going to build to anything?
Who knows?
Because we were sitting here complaining about how Secret Invasion was dumb, and apparently Marvel agreed, because they just punted the whole series out.
Yeah.
They were just like, never mind, it's not canon, don't worry about it.
And this movie bombed so goddamn bad, I don't know if they're even going to do anything with the ending.
Well, it seems like their whole plan is to do a incursion event, and that's how the two universes are going to...
And that's the thing, is I don't even know what their plan is now.
Yeah.
With as bad as all their movies and franchises have done, and with everything going on with Kang and them having to take a left turn, who fuck knows what they're doing?
Well, what's the next one on the docket? The next one is Deadpool 3, which isn't technically. It is and it's not.
Yeah.
It has a foot in the kiddie pool and a foot in the deep end. Which one is it? I don't know. We're going to find out.
After Deadpool 3, I really couldn't tell you. I know Fantastic Four is...
They keep talking about it, but they only just cast it.
Yeah.
They can't even have a script at this point, let alone a director and everything ready to go. That movie's not coming out for another 2 years at least.
I really don't know. Yeah. And I think a lot of it is... Well, no, the Captain America, the...
Oh, World Police or whatever it is, yeah. Harrison Ford as Red Hulk.
Maybe.
Yay! He is 100%.
Oh, they have...
Well, they have shots of him in torn up pants. This movie comes down to a B- for me, because the parts of it that I do like, I genuinely really like. Uh-huh. Amon Vellani is so good, and Brie Larson is always fun to have on set, and she just brings this lightness and mirth to the character that I do enjoy. I do wish that she had more of a depth to her personality, rather than just kind of being the surface level thing on all of these fronts. She has a bunch of different surface level tasks, but that's it. She doesn't have anything deeper than any of those ideas. I thought that Photon Teyonah Parris was fine. She, I think, had some directing issues with some of the delivery that she had at various times.
And it was just too whiny about the whole Aunt Karen thing.
Yeah.
Like, that really started bugging me after a while.
Well, and it doesn't help when you have Lashana Lynch as her mom giving a much better performance in, like, the 2 scenes she's in. So that doesn't help anybody at that point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's bad, but of the 3, she is the lowest on the tree.
Oh, yeah.
I hate Grandpa Nick. The Prince of the Singing Planet was fine, okay, but the whole Singing Planet makes no fucking sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Is this literally a Marvel or Disney movie where magic exists on this one planet? I don't understand, and you're not gonna make any attempts to help me understand. And then the whole Flurkin thing. So like, I can't get over B-.
This is a hard F for me, and I hated this movie from start to finish. I can see the things that you are saying, but once again, if they could have, for me, strung together multiple scenes that were good, but for me it went from bad to good to bad, and so even the good got washed away by bad. And the acting, once again, the Nick Fury thing pissed me off. The Flurkins pissed me off. I didn't like the post-credit scene. So it's just like...
See, I like the post-credit scene. That also helped, is that it ended on a positive note for me, because I like the post-credit scene.
But once again, I think the thing I didn't like about the post-credit scene, well, I did have issues with Kelsey Grammer, but I know that it's not going to go anywhere.
This is the thing, is that ultimately it's a lollipop on your way out of the doctor's office. Does this actually mean anything? Or is this just to help me feel better about what happened?
This is a lot of what we're going to talk about with the next movie. Because it's exactly the same thing where it's like, we know it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So what the fuck's the point?
Why are we doing this like it's going somewhere?
And I want... Because I think I liked Captain Marvel more than you did. Mm-hmm. I understand its issues, and I'm not giving it a pass on its issues.
Yeah. My grade definitely went up. It went from like a C+ to like a B. I still have issues with it, and I still think that the third act of that movie needs to be done with a defter hand than it is. But overall, I like it. I think that there's more positives than negatives.
See, I'm like in a B+ range. Yeah. I agree with you on the Nick Fury de-aging. I think the Coulson one was laughably bad.
The thing that really bugs me is how badly the Skrulls have been handled just start to finish.
Oh, they're terrible.
Just start to finish now. It's just from Captain Marvel all the way through to this current iteration, it's always been done poorly.
Yep.
And the more you watch it, the more you're like, Jesus Christ. Well,
and it's just, to me, like, there are certain villains that you really need. And I still, to this day, they should never have introduced the Skrulls without having the Fantastic Four. To me, all the years I read comic books, they were like hand in hand to me.
I think that
I know they were in other areas, but it's like, to me, it was always a big thing, especially leading into like Secret Invasion, which they completely fucked up.
This movie to me would be more interesting if you had someone like Terrax or Firelord as the villain.
Firelord would be awesome.
A Herald of Galactus.
And that way you can introduce Galactus.
And now there's something bigger on the horizon.
Thank you.
A bigger danger to be worried about. And you can also rewrite the Skrull thing. You can be like, that's what Talos said happened, but what actually happened was that Galactus destroyed the planet.
Yeah.
And then the Kree came, and instead of helping us, they made things worse.
Who was the Harry Styles at the end of Eternals?
Oh, Star Fox.
Eros. But it's like, I don't know. I just, you're right though. They could have done so many.
I think if you have a better villain, because the villain ends up being the Kree Empire again, but because they've muddied the water so badly on what happened with the Kree, you end up being kind of like, I get what you're doing, but it also doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I would ultimately just like a villain that's more interesting, less schemy. You know, I want a force of nature. Captain Marvel is a force of nature.
And I wouldn't have minded a darker tone in the movie. Like, I understand they want the humor and with the water planet and all that, but it's like, the thing that I appreciate a lot about these earlier Marvel movies that I'm watching now is they did have a darker tone. They did have a little bit of comedy, but now it's like, okay, how can we really make it funny? Like, the family, as much as we love them, they are comic relief.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kamala Khan, she's awesome, but also she does a lot of comedy, and it's like, they just are trying to really
that's
lighten
the problem.
These movies.
Everybody does comedy.
Everyone does.
That's the problem. Nick Fury is funny. The people on the Shield base are funny.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sword base.
Sword base
are funny. Why is the Sword name classified? That doesn't make any
Doesn't
fucking
make any
sense.
sense.
Why would the name of sword be classified? Who the fuck cares?
And that's what made Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, so special, is because that was the first comedy in the MCU.
Well, and it also balances the comedy because there's several straight men. So you have Star-Lord and Rocket, who are making a lot of jokes and a lot of funny references. Then you have Gamora, who's playing it straight.
Yep.
You have Drax, who's playing it straight as a joke.
Yes.
You have Groot, who plays it both straight and for comedy.
Yes.
So there's an actual balance to what role each character has. It'd be like if you had the Ninja Turtles and all of them were Michelangelo. And you're like, but like that's not the point. We need the seriousness of Raph and the leadership of Leo.
It was kind of the problem of Ghostbusters 2016, where you didn't have the Ray and the Egon, who were the straight men.
Yeah.
And then you had the comedian with Bill
Everybody
Murray.
Was
Everyone
funny.
Was trying to be funny.
Everybody,
and it didn't work.
Everybody had to have 5 minutes to do their tight five, and it just gets exhausting.
Exactly.
It just gets exhausting after a while.
And that's the thing I've noticed the most of these early Marvel movies, is they really are not funny. They have a couple funny moments.
Happy's not funny. In the first 3 Iron Man movies, until he's watching Downton Abbey, Happy is not funny. Arguably, I guess in Monte Carlo you could argue some of the stuff.
But also when he has like the pass. But that's just him being a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's just tapping the pass at the beginning of the movie. That's him trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But like that's 3 movies in. When we first meet Happy, you know what the first lines he says are? Of course, sir. Because Tony's making some joke about how he's going too slow around the corners. You didn't take Mulholland or whatever.
But even Tony Stark, he wasn't really funny. He just had some smart ass remarks.
He's just a snark.
Yeah.
He's just a snark.
Exactly.
And like I'm so exhausted by how everybody has to be funny now. It's like how
annoying.
all of the references, there have to be multiple references to the 80s. This is not how you write a movie, guys. No. This is like, look at Stranger Things and understand that what you're doing is wrong. There is a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this, and you are doing it dramatically the wrong way.
And this just proves they've never read the comic books, because the comic books are not funny.
No.
They're fucking serious. Like, they're literature. That's why we appreciate them so much. Yeah. They're fucking literature.
What's going to happen, because now they're talking about doing Civil War 2, because that's how you fix a problem, is you do it again. So now they're talking about doing Civil War 2. The plot of Civil War 2 is that Carol and Tony have a fundamental disagreement on whether you have to wait for someone to commit a crime to arrest them. How is this version of Carol going to lead that conversation?
And they already have done that with fucking the Winter Soldier, with the whole I can't remember the name of the program with the helicarriers.
Yeah.
But it's like, they already kind of did that, where it's like, oh, well, we're going to stop them before it happens. It's like, well, that's not freedom. It's like, well, that's fucking kind of what they already did.
Yeah.
So
but now there's going to be a superhero that can tell you if someone's going to do something evil.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Minority Report with Carol and maybe the Hulk. Who's going to take over for Tony?
I don't know.
Pepper? Who's going to be on the other side of that conversation?
Daughter?
Like, what is the actual plan here?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Like, it's such a fucking cluster, and it's a mess.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Like, I am biased. Like how you're biased positively for Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse things. Yeah. I am biased in the negative for everything MCU, because it has made us so mad.
Yeah.
And it's done so many bad things that I grade it harsher than almost anything.
Well, the problem is that now it's a matter of record. The way that your record reflects how you do things is incredibly important, because now I can look back and say, but is this going to be closer to She-Hulk, or is this going to be closer to Winter Soldier? Because a lot of the stuff has been closer to She-Hulk, where you have these little moments which are good, and then these big moments which suck.
Yeah.
And then you're just left being like, I mostly remember the big moments that suck.
Yeah.
Not the little moments that I really like. I'm trying so hard to hang on to those moments because I do genuinely like them. I cannot overstate how much I like Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel. I think she is so good in this role. If they had cast Peter Parker this well, I would be over the moon. So excited. They have cast her so perfectly, and she fits the role so well. And I can't get over how good she is. And that buoys a lot of the bad scenes, because when you're dealing with Grandpa Nick, if he's dealing with Kamala Khan, it's slightly less annoying because Kamala Khan is really great. And So when he's babying Photon or being just Grandpa Nick in general, you're just like, I hate this. But when it's Kamala Khan's there, you're like, okay, this is a little bit better. This is a little bit better.
I don't know. So let's hope. Okay, so let's move on.